Hello and welcome once again to Akuse's vlog. If you're new here, kindly subscribe to my channel and don't forget to hit the notification bell when you're done. In today's recipe, we are preparing Tuo Zaafi or TZ or Diehuo as it's popularly called in Kumasi. This recipe is eaten by the northern people of Ghana, and in recent times it has been one of the most sought after food in the whole country. Come with me as I take you through the process today. I will list all the ingredients in the description box too, so kindly check it out. First of all, I have my assorted meats. I have some beef, my intestines or yamade, my salted fish, my kanwu or my nyama. I have my palm oil, my locust beans or my Dawadawa. I have both the raw one and then the powder one. I have some baking soda. You can substitute this with kanwu if you have. I have my dried herrings, Amane, and then the Amane and Yamane as well. I have some tin mackerel, my salt, tomato paste, some mixed vegetables. I have my tomatoes, my onion, my ginger, habanero pepper, and then my garlic. I also have my jute leaves or Ayoyo leaves. I have my cassava flour and then my maize flour. You can also add any stock cube of your choice. Now in a bowl, I'm pouring water and then I'm going to wash my meat and then put it directly into it. After, I'm going to pour additional water to it and then allow it to boil. Now, if you are in Ghana, you realize that the yama or the intestines are a bit harder to cook than the normal beef. So you have to cook that one first before you add your meat to it. But here it's a little bit soft, so I'm cooking everything together. So kindly take note of that and do same accordingly if you are in Ghana. Now I'm going to add my eggs too. This is optional. You can cook your eggs separately, but I prefer to save gas, so I cook everything in. On the other hand, whilst waiting for the water to be absorbed or evaporate, I'm chopping my onion, ginger, and then my garlic to be used as my seasoning paste for my meat. This is also optional. You can just grind it in your earthenware, but I prefer to use the blender because one, it makes it easier, and then you know how teary you become when you grind your onion in your earthenware, so it's better to avoid that. And then cutting my vegetables before I blend it also saves my blender. It gives it more durability and then it makes the blending very easy. So after I poured it in the blender, added a little bit of water and then I blended it till it's smooth. Now the water has evaporated or is to my preference. So I'm going to take out my eggs and then I will start steaming or seasoning my meat. Give it one quick stir and then you add your blended onion, ginger and garlic paste to the meat and then you stir one more time. I love to stir my soup and my stews all the time, so it has become a part of me. So you stir and then make sure that every part of it or every bite of it has the onion, garlic and then the ginger paste. Now I'm adding my spices. This is homemade to it and then I'll give it a quick stir again. You can use any seasoning cube of your choice, but then remember that using everything in moderation is key. When you're done stirring, allow it to cook on medium heat for an extra 10 to 15 minutes so that it seasons well. Make sure that this is the most saltiest part of the food because you're not going to add any extra salt to our stew. When you do this, every bite of your meat becomes very tasty and juicy too. Take it out of the fire after the 20 minutes and then we start with the preparation of our stew. So in another saucepan, I'm pouring my palm oil into it. Palm oil is optional. You can use your normal vegetable oil for this one, but I prefer to use palm oil for this recipe because of its many health benefits. Now when it's hot, I'm going to start frying my meat too. Frying the meat in palm oil is also optional, but I prefer to do it this way because it gives it another taste on another level. So remember that palm oil is a little bit thicker than normal vegetable oil, so make sure it's very hot before you start frying your meat, else it would soak all the meat and then you won't like the taste. So what do I want and as what they want no nam na manenya she emusane and as a light kakra intino na achene. After, on the other hand, I'm blending my tomato, my ginger, my garlic, and then an extra onion with my habanero pepper too. This I'm going to add a little water and then blend till it's very smooth. After, I'm going to check on our meat to make sure that it's well fried, and then I'll take it out of my saucepan into another bowl. When I'm done, I'm going to add my momone or my fermented salted fish to it, and then add some sliced onions and allow it to cook till it's almost golden brown before adding the next ingredient. This will take roughly 2 to 3 minutes to achieve that. So I'm pouring my blended tomato, onion, ginger, garlic, and then my habanero pepper into this. I'm going to give it a quick stir and allow it to continue cooking beautifully till it's well cooked. Cover it when you're done. So after 5 minutes, this is how it looks like. I'll give it one quick stir. Remember that when you're using a normal stainless steel saucepan, you have to be stirring intermittently to make sure that it's well done. So whilst waiting for it to cook beautifully, on the other hand, I'm going to start removing the head of my dried herrings. This one is called Amane and Yamane in Chi. It's me bubu ni tini nina free sumi yani tino ene nebono ya na enyono. Intino mi yini nyina fruwa na mabubu ne kama te se de huhu no amane no susu na yawo ane ya papa mu dada intino eno de ye yiyi bibia free mu dada ne hono no. You know that is scaly, so we've taken out all the scales too, and then I'll come and check on my stew one more time. So this is well cooked, there's no foam on top of it, so it's time to add my tinned tomato. So I added about 2 tablespoons of it, and then I'll give it one quick stir. I'm not going to add any water yet, so I'm adding my Dawadawa powder. This I'm going to add about a teaspoon of it into my stew. After, I'm going to add about half teaspoon of my spices into it. You can use any stock cube of your choice, but remember to use it in moderation, please. After, you cover it and allow it to continue cooking for an extra 10 minutes whilst you stir intermittently. After, this is the time to add your fish. So here I'm using my tin mackerel, and then I'll mash it into the stew nicely. You can leave it in, but then it's your own choice. When you are done, you cover it. You can use any smoked mackerel too, or any fish of your choice. After about 3 to 5 minutes, I'm adding my intestines and my kanwu first. Also the stock from the meat too, and then I will give it one quick stir. Now there are 2 ways of preparing your Tuo Zaafi stew. You can make it a little bit thick, or you can lighten it up with a little bit of water too. So it's optional, whatever you like, you can do it. My stew is a little bit thick, so I'm going to add water to loosen it up a bit. Like I told you, it's optional. You can eat your stew whilst it's thick. It's really nice, but I prefer mine to be a little bit lighter. I don't know, but most of us in Kuma say this is how our stew for Tuo Zaafi is. It's really light. So whatever you like, I think you can do it, and it's very okay. Taste for salt and adjust accordingly. When it's okay, you leave it to simmer on low heat for an extra 10 to 15 minutes, then take it out of the fire. Now with our ayoyo preparation, I'm going to start grinding my dry herrings with the fingerlings as well. Add a tablespoonful of your dried Dawadawa powder, and then you continue mixing the two together till it's smooth. These ones, you can just put it in your ayoyo like that, or you can make it very smooth. Remember that you can also use the raw one, and then you just grind the two together. Set it aside when you are done. So in another saucepan, I'm just pouring water into it. The water shouldn't be plenty. I'm adding my locust beans or my Dawadawa, this is the raw ones, into it, just a few of it. After, I'm adding my Momone or my salted fish. After, I'm going to add my grinded herrings together with the powdered Dawadawa again into the water to bring it to a boil. Stir everything and cover it to allow it to cook. So on the other hand, this is my Ayoyo leaves. These ones are fresh. We took the sticks out of it and then it was frozen. So I thawed it after removing it from the fridge, and then I'll put it in another bowl. Traditionally, we have a soft broom, not the ones we use to sweep the rooms, but then a one specifically made for Ayoyo. You just put it in like I'm demonstrating here to mash the leaves, let me put it that way. But then now, because of technology, there are so many apparatus or so many things to use in place of that, so I'm using my hand blender to just pulse it a little bit. I'm not going to grind it so smoothly. And then on the other hand too, this is my baking soda. This is for those who are intolerant of kiln. I prefer to do it this way. So if you are using the kiln, normal kiln, please use the procedure I'm just demonstrating in the white small bowl for you. Add your ayoyo leaves directly to the boiled water, and then you give it a quick stir. We are adding the herrings because a lot of us do not like to eat the red stew. So when you do it this way, kids can enjoy this one without the stew, and it's also healthy. So if you are using kiln, you just drain or you just strain the water on top of it and add it directly to this one. But then if you are using your baking soda, you just add about a teaspoon of it to it directly and you are good to go. Since I love a lot of onions in my slimy food, I'm going to chop some into it. This one makes it more slimy. If you don't want your kiln and if you don't have baking soda, you can replace it. Some onion. After, you add salt to taste. The me pesa me kanyina ne say ayoyo no enkra ni bi wo ha mo mpesti kokko no enti no sa wo de amane Dawadawa eni niema nam de egum no guma e mani yehwam ubetime di ne saa wa bra umfa stew no krampo enka ho enti wo wi a koso ani num. Give it quick stir intermittently so that it doesn't flow on top or it doesn't flow over the pan. After about 15 minutes, it's done, so you take it out of the fire. So today I'm going to give a quick shout out to Tuo, Mabel Ampuma, and Emmanuela Jenim Watson for the love and support you guys continue showing me every day. I always see you guys sharing me out. on your various platforms, social media handles, and I'm so grateful. And also a big thank you to my subscribers, my viewers, both new and old. I'm so grateful to you guys. Now we are moving on to the Tuo Zaafi or the Diehuo preparation. So in my bowl, I'm pouring 1 cup of my cassava flour, and then I'm going to sift it. We are doing this because we don't want to have any lumps in it. After I'm pouring 1 cup of my maize flour also in it, and I'm doing same. When I'm done, I'm going to mix the two together. So we so the beya banchi dia ene brobia anyam yeno ube ye free man sana waka wo Diehuo na nyesa bet dem tan. So in another bowl, I'm pouring half cup of my maize flour into it, and this I'm going to mix with about 500 ml of water in it. Remember that you're not using hot water to mix this, so you mix till it's lump free. We say eno ne yede ba beka kokono eno so ena se kokono se emuye dia ye bese bi esi ho ne yede afra entino sa time we no enso si so about 1 liter. When the water starts boiling, I add the mixed corn flour into it. Make sure that it's boiling before you add it and keep on stirring faster so that it doesn't become lumpy. Now when it's done or when it turns touchy, you cover it a bit. Remember also that it can also flow over and then be messy in your kitchen, so be checking up on it once in a while. So this I'm going to boil for about 5 to 10 minutes before I take half of it into another bowl. We no se wonwa na sa wo kan say na tibi anase sebi sin chen se de ebeya se koko no anase abete ana mefa se Diehuo na wo kan mu yedu a eno na yede ebefra ense se wudi nsunyunu ebia fra eyesa enye te se de yepeno intino numu sei wasabi esiwo kama se de ebeya yede esam no anase brusam ne kunkunte sam ne fra aye kama. Also, if you use more of the maize flour, know that it will become a little bit hard when you leave it after serving it. Some prefer more maize flour, others also add kunkunte to it, and it's okay. The kunkunte makes it stretchy. So this is the consistency I'm going for. So I'm going to take half of it into another bowl, and then I'll start mixing the corn and cassava flour while stirring it to turn into my kunkunte or my abetie. Yeah, so this is how we do it. Mostly it's very good to do it the traditional way, where you have your dadisen with your benku break and all that, but it's quite hectic when you're using the stove or the gas to do it for the first time. It's a little bit hard, so continue doing it. If at first you don't succeed, kindly try again. So when you start to be like lumpy form, don't stop. Continue mixing or stirring it. Now add a little bit of water to it, and then you continue again. We here basan kasa enti yero huni Diehuo na mane emunsane anasa abane hihiem ni nyina emfiri mu. We ansana watete abone kama te se de munhu no te se na asa abakakra bi wom titete efrim uwie a sa to aso netwi ense uchia na esija no so kakra ebenane ama ababi ewom no efrim. Also, don't forget to dip your hands in cold water or any water at room temperature whilst doing this. You use it to also remove those that are attached to the tip of the saucepans from it, and then you continue doing it. Now, one thing that when I started stirring my benku, that happened to me was that I mistakenly put the mixed cocoa, the hot one, on my right side, knowing very well that I'm a right-sided person. So I mistakenly dipped my hands into that hot water, and it was so messy and very painful. So please make sure your cold water is on your right hand side, whilst your more or your cocoa is also on your left side, so that when you need to add, you just do as and when it's necessary, and then you dip your hands in the cold water and remove all those from the outer part of it. So look at how nice it turned out to be. Now it's lump free, you can all see, and then it's time to dish it out. This is also optional. You just sprinkle a little bit of water into your plastic, and then you tie it like I'm doing, or you can just serve it directly into your bowl, and it's okay. These ones, I will put it in the fridge till the next day or till I'm done eating it. So that's why I'm putting it in the plastic wrapper. Make sure that it's BPA free and it's healthy to put hot items in it. Now just look at how gorgeous our food turned out to be. You should be here to have a taste of it. The kids loved it so much, and this is how our soup is. Also, everything was cooked well, and then the oil on top, those ones are also optional. You can just take it out if you don't like it, but like I told you, palm oil is very healthy. It contains vitamin A and other nutrients that are good for the eyes. Now it's time to serve. So I just took one out of it and placed it in my bowl nicely. I'll just scoop some of my ayoyo and then my stew, add my egg and then my grinded pepper with some onions, and trust me, it's so delicious. Apart from Tuo Zaafi, you can eat this one too with your banku with kenke, or even gari foto or gari fufu, and it's also good. Thank you, lovely people, for watching my channel. Don't forget to like, share, comment on my videos for more recipes. I hope you enjoy my Tuo Zaafi today. Kindly send me feedback when you're done with your food and let me know how it went. Bye bye.